And because there's really 4 steps to get any job that you want in tech. I really do believe the best investment you can make is in you. My core for young men or all men: self-love, self-respect, self-acceptance, gratitude.
Meet Augustic Dunbar, better known as AD, the RPA guy, a top career coach and tech expert who's made over $1 million mastering robotic process automation. But his real mission? Helping everyday men break mental barriers and land 6-figure tech jobs, often in under 6 months, even with 0 experience. AD's not just teaching skills, he's rebuilding mindsets. He gives men the confidence, clarity, and exact roadmap to thrive in the tech world. His coaching is raw, real, and personal. No fluff, no false promises. He only works with those ready to transform, and the results speak for themselves. AD is living proof that you don't have to follow society's script. You can rewrite your life, reclaim your power, and succeed on your own terms. This isn't just career coaching, it's a movement.
The same 4 steps. The difference becomes in when we start thinking about, well, what's the learning curve for the tech skill that I'm gonna learn? You need to use the one that is gonna give you the highest likelihood of getting employed. As far as I know today, that is you.
All right, guys, welcome back. Today we have an exciting guest. He's going to teach us about a tech skill that is super high in demand, super low competition, pays really well, doesn't take a ton of your time, and is very easy to get into, and you can job stack. Might sound too good to be true, but today's guest, AD, the RPA guy, he's going to tell us all about it. So AD, welcome to the show, man.
I appreciate you having me. I do want to make one distinction. Okay. So you said easy to get into. Easy is, would you agree that easy is relative?
Sure.
Okay, because tying your shoes is hard at one point, right?
Sure.
So I like to say is the simplest skill that you can use to get in.
Simple to get into.
Simplest to get into. But yeah, everything else, absolutely agree.
Yeah. Well, I know you made the comparison to cybersecurity. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Compared to cybersecurity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
8 to 12 months. Yeah.
That's not for me. I'm not that smart. I tell people I'm smart. I'm not that smart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're smart enough to stack multiple jobs in this RPA skill. Why don't you tell us, give us an overview. RPA, people hear robotic processing automation. They're like, what the hell do I know about that?
Yeah.
Who would ever look for me for that? So why don't you tell us why they would be wrong?
Okay. So when you break it down, robotic process automation is really a marketing term. Okay. It sounds cool to the unexperienced person. They think robots. It has very little, if anything at all, to do with physical robots, right? It's more so like coding, right? And when you think about coding, what is coding? Coding is where you give instructions to computers line by line to get a determined outcome that you want, right? RPA is like that, except it's drag and drop.
Okay.
Right? So the example that I give is, let's say you build homes and let's say I build homes. Let's say you build homes with brick and mortar, you know, you get on your hands and knees and you use a hammer and nails and things like that. And let's just say I 3D print homes. I push a button, it prints a wall. I push that button 2 to 3 more times, it prints another wall. I push a slightly different button, it prints a roof. So I'm building, you're building, I'm an engineer, you're an engineer. My process is just a lot simpler, and because it's a lot simpler, I'm going to be able to master my craft much quicker than you can.
Okay. And so what exactly is it? And like why do companies use RPA?
Yeah. So think of it as, so we say robotic process automation. Drop the robotic, act as if it's not there. It's software that is used for process automation. What is a process? It's a set of steps, right? So if I can see you or anyone else take a set of steps on a computer, right? Click here, type here, point, click enter, whatever. If I can see you take those steps, then I can watch you take those steps, and I can then build a bot that does those exact same steps in that exact same order and never makes a mistake.
Yeah.
That's really that's the simplest explanation that I can give.
So what are some of the common uses like that you've seen in your career?
Yeah. So anything that doesn't require intelligent human thought that you have to do over and over and over again. I'll give you an example. This was many, many years ago when I was getting my feet wet with RPA. I think it may have been during COVID because I was working for Automation Anywhere and then I got laid off. Anyway, a guy hit me up for a project and he basically has a music distribution business, I guess. So you would come to him and you would give him your music and he would make sure it got on Spotify and Apple Music and all these places, and he'd bill you your monthly rate, right? And he said, hey man, I have 20 artists right now and I have a guy in the Philippines, billing these people on a monthly basis. The billing process was simple. You log in, you search for the client's name, you find their PDF, you attach it, you click send email. It's like 5 steps, right? Now those 5 steps for 20 people is one thing, but he's like, I'm trying to grow to like 2,000. And once I do that, like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to pay the VA or, could you build me something that would take this over and can do it for thousands of people so I can get rid of that expense? So like that is a very common example. It's the same exact process is happening 2,000 times and it does not take intelligent thought. Those are the type of processes that are best for RPA.
So it's automating kind of like the mouse functions on the screen?
If a human can do it, it can do it. So if it can type, it can click, it can open a browser, it can close a browser, it can send API requests. If a human can do it, it can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like, I have a couple of mortgage clients in my staffing business, and some of those contracts are just thousands of pages long. They have to make changes in it, and it's just like make changes in 20,000 pages. Like
another really good example, I was actually out in I was in Florida. It wasn't Miami. I forget where I was, and I was working with a I don't want to say their name, but basically a company that they had a call center, right? And so they already knew that like, hey, we're gonna have 10 people quit per week, so we know we need to recruit and hire 30 people per week just to keep the churn and everything, right? And so their hiring process was the same. It was, okay, you get an offer letter. We need to put your name, your birthday, your phone number, your email, and send that out to 30 people at a time, right? There's no intelligent thought needed for that. Those are the processes that are perfect for RPA.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like a lot of automation, we think about testing automation and everything. This is just that human automation, just that with the mouse clicking and stuff like that. Right?
Another way to think about it, are you familiar with Selenium?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's browser automation, right? I'm not sure if there's API automation. What's another automation tool that is specific to a type of thing? So like Selenium is specific to a browser, right?
Yeah, there's different test automation frameworks.
Okay, so think of RPA as general automation.
Okay.
It'll work on a browser, it'll work on a desktop, it'll work on a website, it's general. It can be used in just about all cases.
Yeah.
That's what makes it different.
Yeah. So, and I want to talk about the comp ranges, but let's talk about, I mean, you've mentioned in the past AI probably won't be replacing these jobs.
I don't believe that. I don't believe.
Why
so,
is
no.
that? Why do you think that?
Now, I will say AI is growing in leaps and bounds every fucking day. So don't quote me on any of this. But as of right now, as of today, I see all of the major RPA players integrating AI into them.
How
Right?
so?
For example, again, I started by writing code. Like I went to college, I got a degree in software engineering and things like that. So I was writing code. So when I switched to RPA, it was easy because I went from building homes, brick and mortar, to pushing buttons. When you come to RPA, it's still, there's still the software development life cycle, meaning you still have to gather requirements. You still need to meet with the client. You still need to figure out what outcomes they want and things like that, right? And now it started as you as the developer, because an RPA developer is still a developer, right? Having to have the architectural skills to say, all right, how do I want to structure this bot in such a way that it gets the job done and I add my error handling, all this other good stuff. But now they have, our UiPath has something called autopilot, where like you could literally just type in like a prompt and say, hey, this is the kind of project that I need to build. This is what it needs to do. And it'll build you the skeleton for you. And you just plug in the values.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how much coding is going
Very
on
little.
for you? Yeah. Okay.
Very little.
So your software engineering background really isn't coming into play that much?
No,
or?
it is. So, bro, it's almost like Roger Bannister ran the 4-minute mile, right? Whatever they use on the tracks today, I don't know what I don't know what that equipment or that turf or whatever is. They weren't using that 200, 300 years ago. So imagine you were running as a sprinter, as an athlete 200 years ago. Let's say they had sand. Then they use whatever the hell they're using today. Your running skills if you can fucking run on sand, you can run on this.
Right.
Does that make sense? That's what it was like. It was like coding is a 10 out of 10 difficulty. It is a skill set that you can learn by yourself, but most people won't. They're going to give up. They're going to get frustrated. So me starting there and then hopping into RPA was like, no lie, when I got my first interview for RPA, I was like, why are these coding questions so easy? What's the catch here? Why? They were just like, we just need to know that you can code even a little bit at all, right? Because it's more, and that's the other thing about RPA that's a little different. Not a little, it's majorly different. As a software developer, you can lock yourself in a room, turn off the lights, never interface with anyone, and just code. That's not the case as an RPA developer. You are going to be interacting with the client, okay? Because it's process automation. So the best projects I've been on, they've given me access to the subject matter expert who does this process every single day. So I might get some documentation that says, here's how you need to build a process. You need to log in here first, then do this, then do this, then do this. But if I can talk to the person and say, okay, does it have to go in this order, or why do you do it this way? Like, I'm needing to interface with them to say, hey, okay, is this doing the job the way you would do it? Right? So it's more people-centric than a developer role is.
Yeah, so do you kind of like shadow the people and you see them doing a basic task, like, wait.
Yep.
I could help you with that. How many times do you do that a day? Oh, I do that half the day.
Yep.
Okay, great. I can take over.
Yep. I mean, usually there's two companies that come together and it's like, hey, here's what we want to automate. And then they'll introduce you to said person, right? But if you're going to do it like the internal route where you are an RPA developer for one company and they just kind of let you loose on the floor and let you start talking to people, then it would go that way.
Yeah. So let's talk about the comp. You have a lot of content discussing what people make right off the bat, which is almost 6 figures, right? Or sometimes over.
So the average, and this also is dependent on what website you go to. Glassdoor says a little bit differently than what salary.com says and all that. So the data that I've seen, the average, and to me, average is not good. So average.
Yeah.
RPA developer today in America is earning $130,000 a year. Now, there's not many of them. In fact, I know most of them, okay? Most of them are not very good. Most people are not very good at most things that they do. So that's what I'm seeing online when I Google it. Again, you're gonna see all kind of other things. I'm also seeing that people are coming in fresh out of the gate, 90, 95,000. I've seen some starting at 100,000, right? And it's not that the skill set is difficult, it's just that there's not a lot of people who know about it.
Yeah, why is that?
My personal belief is there's just so many different avenues and so many different things going on in tech. There's no one who knows it all. I would love to say, yeah, I was smart and I found this. And no, bro, like I just got a call one day and the guy was like, hey, there's this robotic process automation. I thought I'd be working with physical robots. I was unemployed and needed a job. Okay. So I was like, fuck it, I'll show up to the interview. It found me. I didn't find it. So I could, if someone were to ask me like, how do I find the next cutting edge technology? I don't know, bro. It found me. Why doesn't anyone else know about it? Because it didn't find them. It was luck.
I've only filled a few of them, but I think the salaries were pushing 200.
Oh, wow.
Senior developer. I think one was an architect, 200. And you're saying it's 20 hours a week sometimes.
So what I will say is that, and the RPA people are probably not going to like me for this. Also, I want to say, I do not want to help software developers. Okay, I am totally biased. I came from software development, and I got into RPA. If you're a software developer, you're a smart enough person to pull this off on your own. You don't need my help. I don't want to help you. Okay, but I like working with people who are green and off the street and things like that. That being said, because I'm going to keep going back to the analogy of 3D printing homes, right? Because it's so fast, because what you could do with writing code in like 2 weeks, you could do in like 2 days with RPA. dude, there's not that much work on earth to do. There's not that many projects.
Yeah.
There's not that much work, I promise you. So I don't know anyone at RPA who's honestly, genuinely working 40 hours a week.
Wow.
I don't.
And so in your past, you've been able to job stack.
Yes.
You've been open about that.
Yep.
Yeah. So how's that process been?
I mean, I'm not currently doing it. I don't do it anymore. I'm more so going the C2C route, but I've got people who've graduated RPA University who go on to work 2 to 3 jobs at one time, make $500,000. You just have to be very good with your time, right? You have to be able to, let's just say in the beginning, it might take you 20 hours of work to finish this project. You've got to be so good that you can now do that same project in 5 hours. I'm going to break that out across the week. Like I'm going to progressively make progress on this project, right? And then I got to the point, dude, where I was making 6 figures and I was bored. I was just playing Spider-Man, swinging around the city. I'm like, man, I got this time on my hands. I might as well get another gig.
Wow.
Right? So it really just comes down to time management. You have to be able to make your calls. I tell people there's really only like 2 reasons why people get fired or don't make it as an RPA developer that I've seen. This is once you're already employed. 1, you don't show up to your meetings. You have to show up to your meetings, right? And 2, you don't get the work done. As long as you're showing up and getting the work done, it's very hard. It is very hard not to succeed.
Yeah. And so at what point did you decide, I could actually teach this thing?
That actually started as just like an experiment because, again, coming from coding, I went to college for like software engineering. I was always good at math. And so to me, being good at math is like a superpower because most people suck at it. So you just liking it and being good at it makes people think like, oh, wow, you're smart. So I would introduce myself as an engineer in college. They're like, oh, wow, you're smart. I'm like, yes, I know. Thank you. And sexy. And so I legitimately had the thought like, bro, like coding is not rocket science. And when I got an RPA, I was like, this shit is definitely not rocket science. Like, I believe I can teach this to someone, okay? Anyone, except someone who's like 70 years old. They got arthritis in their knuckles and shit like that. And they're not good with computers. That person's out. Outside of that, I legitimately believe anybody and everybody can learn how to do this at a high level. You look like an athletic guy. You ever play pickleball?
Yeah.
Do you understand that that's the sport that like from 15 to like 65, all those, it's like that.
Okay.
RPA is kind of like the pickleball.
tech.
Yeah, it's simple enough that just about anybody can do it, right? And I've got people in my course as young as like 20 something. I've got people in my course as old as like 50 something, right? And we have lots and lots of support. And so it just started as a thought experiment. And I have a really good friend. His name is Walter. We met back in the network marketing life insurance days, like 2016-ish. And he's a very, 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 very smart guy, right? And one of the problems with smart guys, and this is definitely developers, they like complexity for the sake of complexity. Like they don't want to write code that works. They want the shit to look good and be masterful. It's like, bro, just get it done. And I saw what he was doing. He was building some like really incredibly complex, code to do recruiting on LinkedIn. And he told me he had spent hundreds of hours on it. I was like, bro, you could do that exact same thing using RPA and it would be like 1/10 of the effort. Wow. He didn't believe me. He was like, nah, screw it, whatever. Then he saw me, making this money, buying a home. And he was like, okay, bro, wait. What are you doing? Show me again. And I showed it to him and he was like, bro, this kid, and when I say I showed it to him, I mean, we met for an hour at a Starbucks and I just kind of showed it. I didn't teach him anything. I showed it to him. And he was like, bro, there's no fucking way it's this easy. I was like, no, it is. Relatively speaking, now he's a smart guy though. Yeah. Like this, I want to give context to that because I always talk about Walter. And I have a testimonial from him on my YouTube that you can go see. Walter, he's a fucking nerd. I love him. He's a really good friend. He's such a nerd. And there are these text-based video games I guess people would play. And I never played them. I never played them.
Sure.
But basically you had a character and I guess your character had stats and things like that. He would write software or code or scripts or whatever that would like play this game for you and build your character for you. And he would just like build these characters and then like sell them So like you can log in and now you're like, that's the kind of stuff that he was doing.
Wow.
So if you compare that to then RPA, it's like, oh, bro, this is way easier than that ever was. And so I showed it to him and he was like, bro, this is, and within like 3 weeks, he went and got employed. He's making 6 figures.
Wow.
Right. So that's why I say
So he
the
hasn't looked
fastest
back.
person.
He never went back to software engineering. He just said, I'm sticking with this.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so he then, and I tell people, bro, it's not about RPA. People love to message me and write me and email me about like, tell me more about RPA. And I'm like, no, go Google. That's like, would you agree that a successful person in tech is resourceful?
Sure.
Meaning Google is their best friend. I don't like when people ask me things that they can go find on Google.
Right.
Right. And I also don't teach RPA for the sake of teaching RPA. I say if you're working with me, your outcome should be income. It should be to get employed. If you just want to learn the skill set, bro, there's a million tutorials on YouTube. I would just recommend, I would recommend go watch that. And most of them are by people with very harsh accents and they're kind of hard to understand. And so I want people to understand that like you need support. If you just want to learn it, you can go learn it for free. But if you want to use it to get employed, I'm your best option, and at least in my opinion, right? And so no, Walters never looked back, and I want to ride this wave as long as possible. 2030 RPA was a $3 billion industry. The projections that I'm seeing are saying it's supposed to be a $30 billion industry in 2030, which is great, but it's like nothing compared to cybersecurity, which is like 130 or something like that billion. And so I tell people it's a great gateway. It is a great starting point. You don't need certifications. You don't need degrees. We're at a shortage of 4 million developers in America today.
Yeah.
And RPA developers is a sliver of that 4 million, right? So I tell people when you get good at this and you're confident and you know how to interview well, it legitimately is like being the prettiest girl in high school. Everybody wants you.
Yeah. And do you have any pushback from the industry? Because a lot of guys in tech, even if something's easy, they kind of want to make it, oh, this is so tough. I'm so great. And you're just kind of like, no, this shit is easy.
Yeah, man.
Do they not like you for that in the RPA community?
I honestly don't know, nor do I care. But I'll say this. I'm not, you ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, if I'm going to shorten it, assuming the audience hadn't heard about it, it's basically like when someone is really, really, really good at something at a high level, you ask them like how good they are, they say, I'm okay. I can probably get better. Right. But if you ask someone who's like new and they really don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they feel good about themselves, they're gonna say, man, I'm amazing. Right? I'm good, bro. Like I know RPA developers who are better than me. Like technically speaking, they're better. They build better bots, right? But what I do very, very, very well is I interview well. I'm a people person. I love people. I really do. I don't like everybody, but I love people. Sure. And so I tell people that getting employed in tech as an RPA developer is really a spiritual game. It is the learning the skill set, but I don't really have a tech background. But I show up in these interviews and I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, they don't really want me to do it. Like, it's a self-worth issue. We got to get your self-worth up so that you can communicate in such a way. And so going back to circle back and answer your question, how did I get to this point where I think I'm so good and I know I can do this? It's feedback from recruiters. It's feedback from recruiters and hiring managers, because I think that in tech, the hardest part about it is you don't get to see your competition. Like, imagine you're running track, but you're always running by yourself. You never get to see your competitors. You don't know where you measure up. So if I don't get to see anyone else's interview skills, how do I know if I'm a good interviewer or not? You just have feedback. So if I do 20 interviews and get one job offer, am I good or am I bad?
Right.
Okay, well, if the average person is doing 40 before they get one, or the average person is doing three interviews before they get one, if I don't have the numbers, I don't know. So the only feedback I have to go off of is what recruiters and hiring managers are telling me. I will say this. I did an interview for a finance company about a year or two ago, and I'm not actively looking for RPA work or contracts or anything like that. If I do interviews, I'm typically doing them so that the students within my university can see it. I'm recording it and they can see how I talk and things like that. This financial company reached out to me. I forget when it was. It was a certain month. Let's just call it February. And they're like, hey, we're not hiring anybody till late March. Let's say it's first week of February, and they say, hey, the late March is when we're hiring. And they're like, does that timeline work for you? And I'm like, sure. So they interview me. I do a second round, a third round, and then I get to the final boss, and she's dope. Great company, by the way. And she asked me, she's like, so you've met with my team now a couple of times. How do you think those interviews went? And I said, well, you know, with all due respect, I think they went very well, or otherwise I wouldn't be here right now. Like, I don't think you'd be talking to someone who you didn't think was a good fit for your company. And she was like, fair point. And I'm a straight shooter, so I like straight shooters. She was a straight shooter. We had a great conversation. And what that made me realize, bro, because like, let's just say it was 7 weeks. And she said, she was like, you know, you're the first one who's made it this far. So you're telling me you've been interviewing for like 2 months almost, and no one's made it this far? So does that mean I'm great? Does that just mean my competition sucks?
Right.
I think it means the competition sucks. Also, I'm also amazing, but you know, I think it's more so the competition. So the market is wide open. Most people suck at what they do, and that includes RPA. And so, yeah, man, it's literally, you wouldn't believe like the things that people call me and ask me for, like to interview as them. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
That's like this is what my competition is doing. They stand no chance.
Right. So RPA University, how long is it? You work with them until they get a job, but how long is the training?
Yes. So it is meant to be 6 months, right? And what I'm noticing is that the market is changing. Employers are asking for more things. Like they're expecting these junior people to know lots of things. And so I'm constantly adding things to the program. But it is meant to be 6 months. And when I started it at 6 months, it's like, bro, it shouldn't take you 6 months. Like I saw Walter do it in 3 weeks. 6 months is a grace period. Like it does not need to take this long. But again, most people fly through the RPA part and they're like, man, they even say, bro, not only am I understanding this and it's a little challenging, but like it's fun. I find that it is fun to do anything when you know what you're supposed to do and you know how to do it. Right.
So there's UiPath and Blue Prism. You teach them both. You focus on one. What do you do?
So I tell them I'm very practical. You need to use the one that is going to give you the highest likelihood of getting employed. As far as I know today, that is UiPath. Yeah. I think coming in a close second is Power Automate Desktop, right? Because that's Microsoft's. And here's a free tip for everybody out there. So Microsoft has 2 different platforms. They have Power Automate, which is kind of like Zapier. It's on the web. Then they have Power Automate Desktop. That is an RPA tool because it's on your desktop. It is software that you install on your desktop. It's free. If you have a Windows 10, Windows 11 computer, it is free. I don't know if it's there or not, but you can just go download it for free. And then the paid version is only $5 a month. It's incredibly well distributed, right? There are companies out here today where that's all they do. They just go and they use Power Automate Desktop and they go talk to small businesses and they're like, hey, we can automate any of your services for you, right? So that's how easily and how accessible it is. So I tell them, learn the one that has the most job offers available, right? To me, I think that is UiPath right now. And at the exact same time, they're all similar enough that if you learn one, bro, you know them all. That's like saying if you can drive a car, you can drive a truck. If you can drive a truck, you can drive a van. Like they're slightly different, but driving is driving.
Yeah.
So it's once you learn one, you learn them all.
Yeah, and even though, I mean, obviously it is a somewhat niche skill, but I before this interview, I just checked on Indeed. There's still tons of openings. Tons. And
Yes.
supply and demand is,
Yes.
like I talk about other skill sets, the supply and demand is just way off. And this is definitely one of them because when they ask me to find an RPA person, it's like, oh, damn.
Like you have a hard time finding one?
Yes.
Thank you. See, the data is on my side. I didn't know that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's extremely challenging. You have to, I mean, especially if it's remote, it's easier. But yeah, I mean, if it's on site, it's just a nightmare because some cities, even major cities, the talent pool, I mean, you know every RPA developer in your city, right?
I know most of them. I know most. And I saw something that said like 80% of them work remotely, like 86% or something like that. So yeah, man. I mean, you know who to come to now. You know, when you need RPA work done.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm pioneering they should pay me. All these companies should pay me. I am pioneering the software. People learn about RPA through me, which I never intended that to be the case. But yeah, man, it's a great career.
And the university, it's modules and weekly calls? I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
So basically, there's a video for everything. There's nothing that they need that is not already there. And if it's not there, I have a client concierge team. They're amazing, right? We are there. If there's any content that you think needs to be there, you can text us. We add it. Like, I am all about support, man. I love working with people, and I might end up talking about Joe, but my favorite part about doing all of this is taking a guy who had low confidence, doesn't think he can do it, and then he pulls it off. Do you have any kids?
Not yet.
Okay, no kids. So, bro, it's so cool to like see a child, and it's almost like what I'm doing at RPA University, think they can't do something, and then they pull it off, and there's this look of excitement on their face, like, holy shit, I did it. I like that. I live for that moment. It typically takes 6 months, right?
Okay.
But yeah, it's video modules. We have documentation, and because there's really 4 steps, right? And this I try to simplify everything to bare bones. There's 4 steps, and I mean, you work in tech, so tell me what you think about these to get any job that you want in tech. Okay, I just so happen to help people apply these 4 steps to RPA. The first skill, and I'm talking about a hard skill in tech, so not like project manager, scrum master, hard skill. You must first master a skill set, not even master. You must become proficient enough at one thing such that you can provide value to the marketplace, right? Because no one, like if you go to a networking event, you have no skill, you have no value to provide anyone. Like the most you can do is ask for a job. Doing what? You don't have any skill, right? So you're a mooch. So you must learn something at a high level. 2, you must get your digital footprint right. Your LinkedIn, your Google results, your social media, all of that needs to be on point. 3, you must become a likable person who knows how to interview well. I was always told you want to be the kind of guy they want to get a beer with after the interview is over with. That is where I spend the majority of my time. Most people are so awkward. Like I had no idea. They're so awkward. And then the 4th thing is you've got to apply for a shit ton of jobs. Yeah. You've got to apply for a shit ton of jobs, and you got to continue to interview until you land one. Like that is my simple 4-step process. It works for getting into cyber and RPA and UI UX and data engineering. It's the same 4 steps. The difference becomes in when we start thinking about, well, what's the learning curve for the tech skill that I'm going to learn, right? Like that really is the biggest difference. And then also what's the supply and demand, you know, when you start applying for jobs and things like that.
Yeah, but if you have that stuff, I mean, supply and demand, even if it's reversed, if you have that stuff dialed in, you know, that's who's getting the jobs.
Exactly.
Like I do career coaching and yeah, it's like a lot of people, you know, going through kind of like a university like this, a lot of people, they interview and did you get it or not? Yes and no. Why didn't I get it? I don't know. You know, you were weak in a couple things. Going through someone like you would be able to like run down like this was good, this was good, this sucked. What were you doing here? You're just rambling. You know.
Here's what makes me different. So you know, you've got colleges, you've got boot camps. I consider my program to be, and then you got self-study, right? So that's you trying to teach yourself. I consider my program to be different from all of those because this is a mentorship. Like I've been in tech now for over a decade. I've made 1.6 million in the industry. You're getting like, I'm teaching you. You're getting to work with me. And there's a lot of guys out here, they're not tech workers, they're entrepreneurs who've started companies, great companies. And then they go find people, you know, and they kind of plug them in, fill them in. Like you're not, but I've also heard people say, hey, I've joined this boot camp over here and I pay, you know, thousands of dollars and I get on this support call. There's 200 people and I can't get the support that I need. Right. I would never, ever, ever have that happen to anyone who joins me. I think that's disrespectful. Right. And so mine is a mentorship. Like you're working directly with me. Right. And I have them record their interviews, bring it back to me. We go over it. Like, hey, bro, like he just asked you this question on a scale. This is actually my favorite part, bro.
You like break down the game.
Yes. We go over the entire thing. I'm like, look, they asked you this question. How do you think you answered? Like, what do you think your answer was on a scale of 1 to 10? And the Dunning-Kruger effect, like, man, I think it was great. It was like 7. I'm like, no, bro, it's a terrible fucking answer. And I'm like, bro, I can't believe I get paid to laugh at people and help them get better. It is the best career on earth. And I'm like, no, bro, it was a 2. It was a 3. And what guys mess up a lot is they give these corporate answers. Yeah. And it's like, no, bro, you're sitting across from a human. Like, let them know. Like, they're like, what do I say when they're like, okay, you're coming from retail and now you're trying to do RPA. Why? They feel like, you know, they don't have the back. I'm like, no, tell them that you have a woman, you have children with this woman, and you want to make her your wife, and right now you don't like feel like you have the financial means to do so, and so you decided to upskill and teach yourself this skill set so that you can add more value to yourself, so you can add more value to the marketplace, so that you can take care of this woman to the degree that you want to. Tell them that, because that's the fucking truth.
Right.
And it's just like, it baffles me. People are they're so reserved, and they're so like, you know, just keep everything close to the chest, and it's so boring. I'm like, bro, I wouldn't want to hire you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know the human that I'm sitting across from.
Yeah. And especially like at the lower levels, when you hear a guy say he killed it, I'm like, oh, he didn't get it. He didn't get the shit. That's the last thing I want to hear. Because you're right at the high levels. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we got along really well. You know, we'll see. And then it's like, oh, this guy's great. But the low level, it's like, yeah, killed it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. They don't know what they don't know.
Oh, shit.
You know? Yeah.
We're screwed. Yeah, anything else as far as the university? We're going to have all the links down below.
Yeah.
You guys can check it out. AD's content is awesome, too. We'll have all his links as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say this, lastly, about the university and RPA. I'm not the type of person who wants to convince people. I don't convince people of doing anything. That's just not me. So I will tell everybody, man, like, if you like what you hear here, great. Go watch my YouTube videos. Go watch my content and really think to yourself, convince yourself, is this the guy who I want to work with? If so, click the link in the description, all of that. At the time of this recording, we have a waiting list, so enrollment is closed. But like, do that. And if you don't like my attitude, if you don't like the way I communicate, because I promise I'm not going to change for you, then don't do it. Like, you need to decide for yourself if I'm the straightforward shooter. And I also understand that my coaching style is not a fit for everybody.
Right.
Right. That being said, my favorite group to work with are husbands. I love to work with husbands. If you look at the data, they're the highest earning demographic of people in the country, right? They have responsibilities. I would even imagine, even with you, like if you're talking to candidates, the ones who are typically the best are the ones with a wife and children who have responsibilities, who really, you know, want to excel and take their family's lifestyle to the next level, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. If you are a guy who's already making six figures in another industry, you're tired of having to go into the office, you know, 3, 4, 5 days a week. You're tired of having to tell your son or your daughter, like, hey, I'll be at your baseball game, I'll be at your recital, and you know damn well you're not going to be there. If you're tired of that, I am your guy. I want you to tap in with me after you watch my YouTube videos and determine if I am the coach for you.
And real quick, I mean, what is like the common? You said it's mostly husbands, but as far as experience-wise, are they people in tech that are like
No. The
fresh starters?
The less tech experience you have, the better.
Okay.
Because I find that people who are already in tech, this is including the software developers, they kind of think they know it all already, and some of them do.
Yeah.
Right. So no, the less experience in tech you have, the better, in my opinion.
Okay. And like, what do their resumes look like when you're trying to kind of get them interviews? Just kind of heavy on the skills that you've taught them.
So I literally
basically
give them my resume. I tell them backspace all their stuff, and my stuff, and put their stuff in there, and we workshop it together. I tell them, like, you want to use numbers, you want to use data, you want to talk about what you did, right? What the results were, right? There's a whole training module on that.
Definitely check it out, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, if any of this sounds interesting. Yeah, I feel like people, obviously everyone wants to make good money, and some people are just like very into, you know, their interests. They're very interested in data or the cyber thing, but then other people are just like, I want to make as much as I can with doing as little as possible. So if you're one of those people, I don't know, maybe check it out.
That's hilarious, bro. I don't know why people say things like that in interviews with me. So here's what I'm hearing you say. Some people like are super passionate about the work itself. Right. I'm passionate about the lifestyle that the money is going to allow me to create.
Exactly.
Right. And I tell people, like, I'm not a tech guy. Like, I consider myself to be a smooth, charismatic, sexy guy who just so happens to be good at technical things.
Yeah.
But I'm not working on tech projects on the weekend. I geek out about human nature and human psychology and like dating and sex and like anything that has anything to do with the human brain or human relationships. That is what I do. And I think that has served me well in terms of coaching, mentoring, and teaching people like how to show up effectively on interviews, because getting the job in tech is a lot harder a lot of times than learning the technical skill itself.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so when we talk about some of that stuff, your content, obviously the RPA stuff, you have some of the masculinity, some of the human stuff. So let's talk about that. I mean, what do you have to say?
I think that, so first off, let me start by saying I am pro-man. I am pro-masculinity. I think it is an honor and a privilege to be a man. And I think it is also very difficult to be a man in today's society, right? Side note, I am not anti-woman. I am not anti-femininity, none of that at all. I love women. I think that we need each other. I believe, I think it is my job, my purpose to wake up and become the best version of myself and showcase that to the world. So that's why I try to live my life like as an open book, right? You know, there are some people who will say someone will do a good deed, like give a homeless person money or feed someone or something like, and then they'll record themselves. Right. And then people are like, oh, this guy's a D-bag. I can't believe. And I'm like, I like that, because if he didn't do that, if I didn't see it, then how would I have been inspired to maybe want to do the same thing? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'm pro man, and I think that we live in a time right now where masculinity is seen as bad, femininity is seen as good, and it's like, no, we are two halves of a whole. Both are necessary. Both men have feminine energy and masculine energy. Women have feminine energy, masculine energy. So I'm just pro man in a time where we are being shamed for being men, right? There's this whole term of toxic masculinity, which I think is bullshit. There's no such thing. There's just masculinity, right? If a woman is in a relationship and with a guy who is physically violent, they're calling that toxic masculinity. But if that guy uses that same physical violence to protect you, well, then now it's not toxic. It's just masculinity. So it's masculinity that shows up in a way that you prefer it not to.
Right, and it's a lot of times it's a weaker man that that does that.
Yes,
because a strong man just be like, hey, if you're not into it.
And we'll think about it. So if your masculine self is your doing and thinking self, and your feminine self is your feeling and intuitive self, when a man is being physically aggressive and harming someone smaller than him, he's probably being emotional. Right. That's not him in his masculinity. Right. That's him in his feminine. So that's not toxic masculinity. That is a feminine man who has a hard time staying stoic in the face of his emotions.
Yeah, and that's what I tell any woman in my life. Stay away from emotional men. Yes, because that could happen.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, I know you say happy wife, happy life. People are
most miserable fucking people on earth. The most miserable people, and I know because I've been there, so I try not to judge them. Yeah, right. But you cannot predicate. Think about it. You're predicating how good your life is on how happy this woman is. Right. They're never happy long term. Okay. There's ebbs and flows to it. So it's like it's chaotic. Yeah. Right. My term is happy king and not a goddamn thing. That's just me. That's how it works in my household. Sure. Because I'm the leader of my family and my army. Mm-hmm. If I'm not good, no one's good.
Yeah, and I'll also say it's like, I think they go about it the wrong way. Like if your woman's happy because the man is stepping up and being the man, she could be happy that way, not you kind of running around, oh my God, is she okay?
Bro, and a lot of men try to buy their wives' happiness too, right? And it's kind of like, that doesn't work, because what you're doing is saying, hey, you're upset right now, and I could give you food, give you gifts or whatever, and change your emotional state. But what you're doing when you're doing that is you're indirectly communicating, I cannot handle your emotions right now, so therefore I'm going to do something such that they change. Yeah. That's what you're physically doing, and it makes her lose respect for you because she feels unsafe. You're much better off just walking away and letting her deal with her own emotions. She's not going to die.
Yeah, and sometimes they just want you just to sit there. Like I see a lot of guys will just be like, the woman's getting emotional. Well, actually, it's like she doesn't want Mr. Spock here. She doesn't want the logic.
Yep. Bro, that is so true. That is so true.
She just wants you to just be the sounding board there.
Let me give this tip to all the husbands out there. Like, as a guy who was on the verge of a divorce, heart beating out of my chest, sleeping in a hotel, not sure if I'm going to lose my family, and I've been there. I've recovered. Like my wife misses me. Look, she can't keep her hands off me. Like and my wife is amazing, right? 9 times out of 10, if she's upset, the easiest, I'm all about effortless too. So I think if there's a solution, if there's a way I can build a bot that takes 20 steps in 20 hours, or there's a way I could do it in 5 steps in 5 minutes, I'm always going to choose 5 steps in 5 minutes. I'm always going to choose the least effort route because I'm an engineer and that's what we do, okay? The easiest thing that you can do if she's ever upset, you do this. You just come to her, you change your tone of voice, you say, "Oh, poor baby." You give her a hug and you walk away. You walk away because logic is not going to fix this.
No.
She doesn't have a logical
she
problem.
doesn't want the logic.
She has an emotional problem. "Oh, poor baby." Give her a hug, walk away. That is the best that you can do in most scenarios.
Right.
And we try to overcomplicate it. I try to overcomplicate it sometimes by giving logic. That does not work.
Yeah. And so what are for young men that you speak to? Where they go wrong? What are some tips you give them right now?
I think young men actually, it's hard to be a young man because like you don't have a lot of value. What I'm learning as I'm getting older and I'm becoming more and more successful, men need friends, right? Men need friends. We need other men to be around who can kind of like understand us. But in order to like really make a high quality friend, you usually have to pay to get in rooms. And young men don't have money, right?
Yeah.
But the best advice I can give to them is the same really advice I give to everybody. It's to all men. It's do what you want. Figure out who you are. Figure out what you want and do that to the fullest, right? The term midlife crisis. Okay. If I had to ask you to define what a midlife crisis is, what would Chris say that is?
I would say the moment they realize their life is not going to go the way that they thought, and they reach a certain age and everything they thought is not where they thought it would be. I would say that's probably most midlife crises.
Okay.
Right?
And so it happens around 50, 40, late 40, something like that. Okay.
Sure.
So I have a mentor, and we were talking about this term of midlife crisis. And he was like, isn't it interesting that that's what they decide to call the term? Like, think about it. Just listen to the term, midlife crisis. It doesn't sound like a positive thing. Right. No one would want to have a midlife crisis. Here's what a midlife crisis is. It is when a man wakes up, older in age, and he realizes, I'm going to work, I'm paying all these bills, I'm helping with the kids, I'm dealing with trying to be a family man and be an employee or a business owner and be there for my parents and be there for my church and be all these things for everybody. And I've put myself last on the back burner. There are goals and dreams and hopes that I had when I was a child at 18, 19, 20 that I've never gotten to fulfill. And he wakes up, and then here's the other part. This is a big cherry on top of it. And she's not having sex with me.
Correct.
I'm waking up and I'm providing for someone who does not respect me, who does not like me, who does not treat me well, and who is sexually closed off to me. And they say, you know what, enough is enough. And they basically realize that they've been pouring from an empty cup this entire time. They're being what everybody expects them to be. They're being, they're following the Bible, or they're following the church, or they're following their mom, or their dad, or their community, or their buddies, or whatever. They have this script that someone else has written that they're sticking to, and they're realizing this is not what the hell I want. I've been there. I've done that, right? And as the crisis happens, the day they say no more of that, I'm doing what I want to do. And I tell men that when you get in a monogamous relationship with a woman and that lasts a long term, what you're doing is you're stifling your growth. You're not learning women, you're learning that woman. That's the equivalent to going and getting your first job at Burger King flipping burgers, and then you fucking stay at Burger King for 25 years. Right. You're not going to learn any other skills if you stay flipping burgers. So there's a graduation process that never happens. And essentially, the crisis is when he says, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm starting to live my life for me. And you start to see him go get a convertible and a hot girlfriend. And what he's really doing is he's reconnecting with his younger self before he had all these damn commitments and saying, what did I want to do? Yeah. I always wanted a fast car and a good looking girlfriend. And so like, that's what he's doing. It's him deciding to wake up and say, I'm living my life for me now. My thought process on this is I'm not waiting till I'm 50. I'm living my life for me now, period. What's best for me is what's best for everyone around me. So if I have to make a decision, and let's just say that my confidence is a 2 out of 10, My son gets a father whose confidence is a 2 out of 10. My wife gets a husband whose confidence is a 2 out of 10, right? And let's just say I have the choice of going to a social function, a family function, a graduation, a birthday, whatever. Or I can sit here and read this book that's going to help me enhance my confidence and go from a 2 to an 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit and read that book. Why? Because that's what's best for me. And because it's what's best for me, I genuinely believe that is what's best for everyone around me. Now I may have missed out on the birthday party. I may have missed out on the social event or the soccer game, but now my son gets to inherently be in proximity to a father whose confidence is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
My wife gets to be in proximity to a husband whose confidence is a 10 out of 10. And that is what I think that's the ideal life. You pour into you and you bless others by proximity.
Yeah. So what do you say for guys in their 20s to avoid going down the wrong path and then having to blow everything up?
Yeah, well, one, I will say again, in your 20s is hard. Like, you ever like been stuck between like 2 bad decisions? It's hard not to waste your 20s, right? You can waste your 20s partying and it's like you don't have any skill sets, or you could waste your 20s like grinding and becoming very successful and have no fucking friends, right? So like, and you miss out on a lot of great experience.
There's going to be a trade-off in their 20s.
There is a trade-off. And so I will say, and here's the other part about it. You don't know a mistake was a mistake until you've made it, okay? So you need to go out and just create experiences. Go try things. So that's what I would say. Try things. Try also not to get anyone pregnant, right? Try things. Learn what you like. Learn what you don't like, right? Yeah. Great example. So I have trust issues, okay? And it stems from mother things, and my mother would say she was gonna come get me growing up, and then she didn't. Sometimes it was her fault. Other times I'm learning as an adult, it wasn't her fault. There was things that she didn't have control over, right? And so that has turned into me, like, I don't like liars. I don't like lying. Like, it's a personal issue for me, right? So now that I've had this experience, what does that mean? I need a woman who's honest, right? But it took me going through life experiences, makeups, breakups, all these things for me to realize, okay, this is a recurring theme for me. Let me look at my childhood. Oh, that's where it comes from. Now that I know this about me, now I have data that best allows me to choose what woman is best for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%.
And so you don't get that unless you have a lot of experiences, make a lot of mistakes. Yeah. So I'd say try things, do things, have experiences. Try not to have any experiences that are like unrecoverable from, like, don't get diseases that you can't get cures to. Don't get felonies that you can't get off. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to avoid those. If you make it out of your 20s without any of those, bro, like, and here's the other thing, dude, I'm 33. I can't wait for my 50s. Men's highest, they earned the most money in their lifetimes in their 50s. Right? Like, you get the pepper gray beard, and I've got gray hairs coming in my chest. Like, bro, I'm living life. Like, life gets better as you age as a man. So just know it's getting better and have experiences, bro. Do the best you can.
I mean, you mentioned a mentor. How quick would you recommend someone trying to get a mentor?
As soon as possible. I'm at the point now. One of my favorite comedians, I love comedy. I love stand-up comedy too. Like, I'm going to pursue that at some point. And one of my favorite comedians is Country Wayne. One, he's hilarious on stage. He says things that no one else says. But outside of that, he's a great businessman. And one of the things I heard him say was like, hey man, no one is more invested in me winning or getting a return on my money than me. So I'm going to spend my money on me. So much so that he paid to shoot a comedy special and then sold it to Netflix. And he's like, if they don't want it, somebody else will buy it. But I'm going to spend the money on me. I'm going to produce, I'm going to rent the venue, I'm going to hire the cameraman, all of that, right? And I took that and I was like, man, I'm going to be investing in me from going forward. And so you getting a mentor, whether you pay them or not, that's you investing in you. And I'm at the point now where I'm never doing anything from scratch ever if I don't have a mentor. So I'm 100%. Going to be getting into real estate soon. I have a mentor for that. Right. If I'm going to start hosting events and doing masterminds like we talked about, I'm going to hire someone to teach me what to do because I want to avoid their mistakes. I want to borrow their experience. I just want the easy, smoothest path possible to success. So and as a young man, there's so much that you don't know. Right. There's so much that you don't know. So I would say get a mentor ASAP. I would say humble yourself. And the easiest way to do it is to give a guy a compliment. Like, when I see a guy like in a really, really nice car, I'm like, bro, that is dope. This is amazing. Thank you for showing me an example of success, bro. I would love to connect. I would love to buy you. I just make myself available because again, just like earlier in my example of the, recording yourself doing a good deed. If that guy didn't buy that car and didn't show up and pull up and like show it off, then I wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't have then had the dream of, bro, I could do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's so important. I think a lot of guys can get gun shy about spending money on things like that, but the ROI is really high on that stuff, but you're going to swing and miss too.
Absolutely.
Like your first mastermind mentor, it may be a dud, but it's just part of the process.
It's a learning process.
Yeah. It's part of the investment because when they hit, it pays for everything.
Yes.
Times 10.
And I mean, even today, like when I tell my students in RPA University, I don't get all the jobs I apply for. I get rejection emails. I don't get, I do a damn good job on interviews now, but even that, I don't get all the jobs I interview for. So like, I think a failure or something not going the way you want it to go in the beginning is like super big and detrimental. And then once you get along the way, you're like, it's just another experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else for young men? Obviously, it's so easy to get distracted. Any tips on that? Because obviously, the distractions are fun. Video games are fun, but maybe play an hour and not 4 hours.
I would say schedule it.
Yeah.
Right. And I have one mentor. He talks about, and I'm just so grateful for this guy, man. I've learned so much in such a short period of time. He talks about creating from a place of rest. And so that means turning your brain off sometimes and saying like, I'm not doing anything for the next 2 hours. Like I'm going to consciously relax. Have you ever had like a problem you're working on that you can't figure out how to solve and you're just like, fuck it, I'll come back to it tomorrow. And now you're in the shower.
Right.
And the solution comes to you. That is the power of relaxed concentration. So just turning your brain off and saying like, hey bro, I'm going to go hang out with the guys. I'm going to go play Spider-Man for the next 2 hours. I would just say schedule it.
Yeah.
Schedule it, and then have a self-care routine. This is something that women are very good at. A man will go through something that will be difficult on him. A divorce, maybe not a divorce, but like he'll lose a buddy. He will lose a job. He'll, have something that has an emotional impact upon him. And then he'll act as if it never happened. But it's like, no, bro, those emotions are still in there. You must let that out. You must acknowledge it, right? My favorite way of doing it, I go get a massage, okay? I relax. I allow them to rub me and like, bro, my brain is just like, I'm just sitting and I'm thinking like, what am I grateful for? What in my life wasn't as good as it is today, right? Because we live in this time, bro, where, especially in America, there's so much abundance and influence here. Did you know if you're homeless in America, you're still in the top 1% of wealthiest people on earth?
Yeah.
Like, bro, gratitude is a cornerstone.
iPhones.
Yeah, bro. And so it's like the universe or God or whatever Buddha, whatever you believe in, is not going to bless you with more until you're grateful for what it is that you currently have. So I practice gratitude. Every morning I wake up, I write in my gratitude journal. What 3 things am I grateful for? What would make things great today, right? What did I do yesterday? I have one mentor who says, what did I do today or yesterday that I regret? And he's like, if all you did was never do the thing that you regretted
the day before
ever again, you would have so much forward momentum, right? So I would say invest in self-care, man. Invest in being around people who are good to you, who pour into you. And a lot of times that's not family. A lot of times that's not family. A lot of times your family have seen you like grow up. They've seen you be a knucklehead and make bad decisions. And so they say things to you like, you can't do that. Cut ties with those people. Only go home for like Thanksgiving and shit.
Yeah.
Be around people who believe in what you do. Like be around people who are like, man, like you can do anything you put your mind to. And get in rooms where, get in rooms where your current challenges or what you're trying to do, these people do that and they make it look effortless. That is inspiring to me, getting those kind of rooms. And I'm also a really, really big fan of network marketing. Like it is the easiest way. Like if you got $200, you can buy into a program. You may or may not make any money, but the stuff that they're going to teach you in there, the personal development that you're going to go through, bro. Are you familiar with Patrick Bet-David?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I was a part of PHP in 2014. I think I joined.
Oh, wow.
And so, Bro, I went from like seeing this guy, no one knows who he is. He was doing 2 minutes with Pat, but the videos were 9 minutes. He was like, fuck it, we're not calling it 2 minutes anymore. To like Mr. Values, I was there, I saw him do it. I was in the organization. I wasn't with him every day or anything like that, but like the amount of personal growth that I went through being a part of his organization, it was invaluable. I wouldn't be who I am today.
Did you make any money there?
I did. I think my best year was like $20,000. Like I did not kill it. I was not great.
Yeah.
Okay. But the average person in network marketing makes less than $2,000.
It's like
right. But and I also was
$100.
there for like 6-7 years or whatever. And I went from there to RPA. Right. And my goal was to own a piece of a company before it went public. And ironically, it happened when I got an RPA. I got a piece of Automation Anywhere. Right.
Really?
So that was how I transitioned. It was like, okay. Like, and once I got that email where it was like, hey, you're a shareholder, like literally all my motivation to do PHP like stopped. I was like, but why?
Yeah.
Oh shit, because I met my goal. I met my goal, right? And so, yeah, man, I would say young men, get involved in network marketing, at least for 12 to 24 months, and invest in reading books and invest in you. Invest in you is what I would say.
Yeah. Anything else as far as your personal success tips? Do you meditate? Do you
You know what's funny?
say
The
gratitude
fundamentals,
journaling,
journaling, reading, mentorship. Like, I really do believe the best investment you can make is in you.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think Warren Buffett said the best investment you can make ever is in other people, right? So you become a leader by leading yourself, and then you help establish and develop other leaders, right? But yeah, that's really what I do, man. I have my habit tracker, and I like to sit and think about
one of
like
those Excel ones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
and I think about like, okay, what outcomes do I want, and then what habits would I need to build? Like, who do I need to become in order to make this goal a reality? And then track those habits.
Yeah.
Right. So my thing is, I drink 100 ounces of water a day. It's small things.
Yeah.
I try to take 7,500 steps a day. Lift weights once a day. Right. Journal. Read 10 pages a day. It's not about doing big things. It's about doing these small things consistently, and then learning how to leverage and how to get other people to help you do things. But yeah, man, there's so much to it. But my core for young men or all men: self-love, self-respect, self-acceptance, gratitude. I've already talked about gratitude.
Yeah.
You must be grateful. Self-love is self-investment.
Sure.
Read books, hang around people, nourish yourself, drink water, wear condoms. All those things are self-investment, right? Self-acceptance is accepting yourself for who you are in your nature. Understanding that, like, if your woman wants to talk and you're tired of talking all day, don't feel bad about not wanting to talk all day. That's her nature. That's not yours. You're not bad. You're just different.
Yeah.
Right? Self-respect. Respect to me is a weird word. I question like what it means every day, but to one degree, it means admiration. It means treating yourself like someone who you admire. That in a lot of people, their self-talk sucks. They talk to themselves. Like, have you ever had someone in a bad mood and they're having a bad day, and they kind of like lash out at you and say something crazy? They talk to you like that because they talk to themselves like that. So I don't take any of that personal. It's just like, your self-talk sucks. If I were to talk to myself that way, like a lot of times people like say like, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm this. And I'm like, bro, if you had a best friend, if you had a friend who spoke to you that way, how long would you be friends with that person? They say not long. Then stop talking to yourself that way. It does no good for you to judge yourself or to be so hard on yourself. And I'm talking to you as someone who's been very hard on himself, and I know that. So now that I know that about myself, what practices can I put in place? What things can I put around me so that I'm actively giving myself grace? I need to be reminded to give myself grace.
Yeah. And I really like your content because, there's a lot of that type of content for just the younger men. I know we cover the younger men, but you also focus for the guys that are married or in a relationship, because you see a lot of them get soft and soft bodies or just not taking care of their career, which obviously you help with as well. Two things that whether a relationship goes on and thrives or it ends, the two things you're going to carry with you are your career and your physique. That's not going anywhere. You're stuck with that.
Yeah.
And it'll probably enhance your relationship. Probably won't end if you take
Yeah.
care of those things.
Yeah.
But if for some reason it does end, you're going to be good.
Here's how I think about it, man. You know, people use the word failed relationships. I don't think there's a such thing. I don't think you can have a failed relationship. I think relationships, they run their course, right? And I don't even believe that someone being married for 5 years, 10 years, 15, I don't think that's not a flex.
Right.
A flex is I'm the best version of me and she needs to keep up. It's probably best that if she's not keeping up, we need to wrap this and like let her go.
Right.
The easiest way for a relationship to end is for one person to grow, whether that means reading books, going to therapy, whatever, and the other person to choose not to. So if I'm ever with a woman and I see that she's not doing these things, it's like, hey, babe, this is not going to last.
Right. You got to step up.
Yeah, so leave. I'm going to get me a reader and someone who's so like sometimes the relationship needs to end and that's okay. Let it be. So it's not about the relationship, it's about your relationship with you. And then eventually you get to a point where like you'd never be alone. Like there's so many people who want to be around you because you're vibrating at such a high level. That is success. And you can just, they can come or go. You don't care because you like yourself.
Yeah. No, I think that's amazing advice. Yeah. Anything else before we take us home?
No, I mean, that's it, man. The people can reach me on Instagram at the RPA guy, right? If you are interested in the tech stuff, if you're interested in the masculinity stuff, then you can go to my website. It is makemeking.net. I am pro man. I am pro masculinity, brother. I'm here for you. Stop judging yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, respect yourself, because your woman cannot love you more than you love yourself. She cannot respect you more than you respect yourself. She cannot accept you more than you accept yourself, period. And I'm pro man, and I'm just appreciative to be here, bro.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll have all the RPA University, all AD's links below. And thanks, guys. We'll catch you next time.